All right. Good morning. How's it going? How's it going? Let's get people into the room here. Good morning. Welcome to the beginner's room here at Real Life Trading. My name is Tony. Let's dive into these markets. How's everyone doing? Morning. Yeah, what a gap out there. Let's get into it. Packed house today. Terry's here. Albert, good morning. Michael, my friend, good morning. John, good morning. Donna's here. Let's go. Jason Variance, what's up? What's up? Some of my friends out in YouTube world. Thune, what's going on? Jeremy, how's it going? All right, let's get into this thing. So make sure I have this. All right. Yeah, great gap on the markets today. It's a big gap for the SPY, gapping up above this bear candle. So I mean, this was attempting to be that S curve down, right? That's what this bear candle was, up, back down, and probably going to do something like that is what should have happened if the bears are still in control. So we had a nice bull day yesterday and now a nice gap up above the bear candle. It's looking good. We are into a pretty solid resistance at the moment. So we're gapping up decently big into a resistance. It's going to make sense to have some pullbacks this morning and then see if it can find its ground and get going. Hold on a second. All right. Sorry. Sneezes, wait for no one. So yeah, at a resistance, nice gap, definitely looking very strong on the support. So this base is getting more and more solid. I still believe that we will be rolling back down one more time eventually, probably making a new low or at least revisiting close to those lows and then try to work our way back up to the resistance from there. I don't know what we're going to do, but that's what I imagine we're going to do based off of how much weakness was here. So we will see. I am expecting the markets to get some bouncing right there. So around 460, 60 is the spot where the market should bounce if we even get down that low. If we get down that low and the markets don't bounce, then we can easily read sentiment and realize we're going to be a little bit weaker, be patient, and take our place from there. Okay. The Q's making a great, this is a great gap on the Q's. Gapping up above the bear candle, above all the EMAs. And Q's, we do have a little resistance, but it's really not that strong like the SPY has. So again, still expect this to retest. This is a retest gap, a green candle gapping up. And then probably going to retest back down and then get going again. I imagine Q should be pretty bullish. Tech should have a good day. We will see. All right. Cool. If you guys have some tickers that you'd like me to look at, throw them my way. Let's dive into it. Let's try to find some good gaps and some opportunities to make some money this morning. Keep them coming. Cam says AMD. Great gap on AMD. Yeah, pulled back down to the 20 EMA. Yesterday, it's a gap and go, so it should be a pretty quick mover. This is one I'll be playing on a 1-minute chart and looking to get some resistance probably up into like 145.21. I'm just looking at these wicks right here. That makes sense for that area. And then best case scenario today, probably like 149-ish is where I would guess if we were really strong, we'd probably get to. Once we start hitting some EMAs, I think it's going to start slowing down. So if AMD's up here, this isn't the place to go long. So I actually don't want this gap to get any bigger. It probably will. It probably does go a little bit more, but these are our targets here. That's where I want to get to. And then that's best case scenario up there. So yeah, I like AMD a lot for sure. Great find, good gap. We just need this to not get too extended. Don't move too much, but this is a great trade. Bulls are showing some strength. All right. Let's see here. Off of YouTube, we've got a few more. Thank you, my friends, for just contributing and having fun and being here with me. I really appreciate it. This is starting to grow and explode even more than we would have imagined. So we love it. Thank you for hanging out. If you have questions, feel free to throw them at me. I'm going to try to spend a few minutes each day just answering some of your questions on YouTube. As much value as we can give you and help as we can give you, that's our mission here at Real Life Trading, is to help you achieve your financial goals and help you on your path of learning how to trade the markets. So, all right. Twitter is a retest gap. Definitely showing some strength, really good reversal pattern coming in. Had some good volume yesterday. We're very oversold, so clearly leaning bullish. We are gapping up above the 10 EMA, which is awesome. And a little bit of resistance coming in the way here. So there's not a ton of movement to go before we smack into this weekly resistance. Now, it used to be a weekly support. So this is a little bit bigger of a support. It's been a resistance and support previously for a while. So it makes sense that we struggle there. So just be aware of that. Make sure you get targets to it. Best case scenario today, I would say, is probably up in the 47, 40-ish range. I think would be great. So we'll keep an eye on this one. Add Twitter to our little retest group there. And AMD needs to go to our gap and goes. These are all old. All right. We've got Walmart. Walmart with a good gap. Walmart's getting a little extended. We've had 2 bull days in a row now, which is showing more strength in the markets. And now we're gapping up again. So another retest gap. Expect this to retest just a little bit. If it runs out the gate, you're immediately going to hit the 10 and a little bit of resistance here. You see all these lines, right? See all these resistance lines over here and over here. There's a lot of resistance coming in. So for me, Walmart is not amazing simply because of how much it has to get through. And I feel like we're going to get a little bit of chop. So that's something to pay attention to. It does look strong, does look bullish. It is gapping outside the range for sure. It's just how much more can it go until it starts to hit some of that resistance in EMAs. Cool. Let's move on. Vient. Good break out of a channel on a gap. I like to see a gap break on the channel. That's even better. Yesterday, we did get out above it. We didn't close above it. It kind of trapped, right? Those bears took over, and now we're gapping up above it now. So this looks great as long as it can trade okay, meaning the 5 minutes not too gappy. Got a little bit of gappage here. It's probably a little too thin for me to trade. And the reason why you don't want these gaps, they're fine if the trade works. But if the trade doesn't work, so let's say you get in up here with your stop here and it triggers you in and then it starts to fall. And your stop is right here. Your stop is a market order. At least it should be a market order, which means you're telling your broker to fill you at this price or at any price lower. If this thing is not super liquid, the next buyer might not be till down here. So it doesn't matter if your stop is up here, you're going to get filled down here. It's going to get really jumpy and skippy. That's called slippage. And that slippage is going to cause you to lose more than one risk unit, one R. All right. So if you have a risk unit of $100, you're like, I want to lose $100 on this trade. There's a chance you lose $150 or $200 on this trade because of slippage. So to me, I just see too many gaps on the 5 minutes. So keep an eye on that. That's a good little hack to help you avoid these losses. Now, if it works and it goes your direction bullish, then great. But the times that it doesn't, that's where you're going to get you're going to get hurt on that one a little bit, right? So you want to be patient with that, careful with that, and make sure that no matter how good the gap is, this is a great gap. It might be a good candidate for a swing trade, right? But for a day trade, it's it's probably not the greatest one to day trade, in my opinion. It's doable, but that's just been from my experience what I found, right? It's all about controlling your risk. So you want to manage risk and not have, you're always going to have some kind of slippage. You can't really avoid that all the time, but you want to make sure that you prevent it as best as possible. And you can do that by getting into liquid stocks, into stocks with a small spread between the bid and the ask. All right. We've got A, B, and B. Great gap. Good move today or yesterday. Really good gap. We're gapping up and filling this gap now. I guess we filled it on the way back down, but I'm saying this is going to act as a resistance. So we're coming into resistance after a massive move higher. I mean, we went up 8.5% yesterday. I don't know how much more of a mover we'll get. This is strong for sure. It's got really good sentiment behind it. And there's a chance that we go right through this resistance and just keep going. But it's extended. So just be careful. You're going to get a lot of chop on this. You're going to get a lot of profits taken today with this retest gap. So for me, if I was going to get in, I would want to get in somewhere around 180 or lower. 175 to 180 is a pretty good spot to start looking for that reversal and go bullish. Okay. PH, the nice gap and go. Let's see what kind of volume this has. So this has very light volume on the pre-market. Most of the time what happens here is it looks really good, and then about 30 seconds before the market opens, it just comes right down to here. And so your gap isn't even there. This one trades okay on a 5-minute. I don't see too many gaps. It's doable, but the pre-market's very light. So just be aware of that. I think this could get up to around 229, 230 today is where I would probably be looking to take my profits and get out. All right. The GS gap. If you've got some more tickers, again, throw them my way. We'll keep going. I'm trying to fly through these, and then we'll get to a little quick question and answer period right now on YouTube. Goldman Sachs, it's a good gap. Honestly, we hit these resistances, these EMAs, all of this right here in front of us. We've had a good move up. What we're expecting is to roll back down. This is what I'm expecting. We have a bull put spread on this. It's not working. As soon as we started to break these levels here previously, right, we had a nice bounce. We broke that level. I'm like, it's probably not going to work great. But so I'm expecting this thing to roll back down. With that, I think so is everyone else. And so a gap up above this high wave candle, if it can get some momentum today, I think 400 is on the table. This resistance here, all these wicks, there's your next resistance. I feel like that could easily happen if it gets going. So that's my thoughts on the gap today. It's a pretty good gap. It's tradable. And I think 400 is a really good place for a target. So we'll keep an eye on that one throughout the day for sure. All right. BZH. Beazer Homes, huh? For me, the volume is already too low. So I need at least 1 million on average for the 10-day for me to even consider it. Again, I showed you the reasons previously. It just gets really tough to trade when you're getting in and out on some size, and it gets a little spready and you can lose a lot more than what you're planning on. So it's already too low in volume, but if you absolutely had to trade this, I would say it's really extended and is probably what it's probably going to do is run up, hit this resistance, and then probably start to sell off for the rest of the day. That's what I would guess. It is strong. It's just, it's too extended. I mean, in like 4 or 5 days, this thing has gone up 20% almost, 18%. So stocks that do that tend to find some sort of, people tend to take profits and find a top, and then it starts to come back down a little bit. So I wouldn't be too excited to go bullish on this one. RVL. Marvel, I'm trying to figure out this all-time highs. I think so. So this top right there is your all-time high. It is, we're not an inside candle. It is a good gap. You're just really extended. I mean, this is not a buying zone for this stock. This is a selling zone. I mean, if we bought this thing down here, would I be looking to add to that position or get out? I'd be getting out. Right, the S curve, big move up, you get out, it comes back down, you get in, it goes back higher again. So what part of the S curve are we in? What's next after this? It's time to come back down. So eventually this thing's going to go lower. If it does scream higher, that's okay. You're still in setup. You're still in section 1 right there, right? If it keeps going higher, we still know what's about to come. And S curve still does this. So if it doesn't matter how high this thing goes, it doesn't matter if this thing goes to 200, we're still waiting on the pullback. And that's what professional traders do. They don't chase these. So could this go higher? Yes, but I feel like you're going to need a lot of chop because people are going to be taking their profits. Everyone that's ever owned this stock, they all have something in common, and they're all green. They have the hope that it's going to go, but if it doesn't, if it starts showing any weakness, people are going to bail and take profits, and this thing will come down fast. So just be aware of that. It's going to be a little bit tough to trade. It's a retest gap. So give it 10, 15 minutes, let it make a decision, let it make some levels, and then trade against those levels. See if it can go more. I'm leading bullish on this, but again, it's just so extended. I wouldn't plan on this thing going to like 96 today. It could, but I wouldn't put money on it that it would, hoping that it would. I don't feel like that's a good trade. Over 100 trades, you're not going to be very profitable with that strategy. Open sesame is pretty good gap. There is a lot in front of it, right? We're at a resistance here. That's right where we're gapping to. Gaps tend to go to resistances. You have an EMA right in front of your face, and you've got a lot of resistances here. And this is not what we call a bull trend. So what I'm expecting on this is for it to bounce back up at somewhere 15 to 18 area, and then probably start to roll back down. So that is the plan. Donna, if we can be around break even on it because it went to our concern zone on a bull put spread, then I will probably just get out of it. Yeah. It just broke key levels that I don't want to see weakness on. And it could be a trap, and that's okay. But for me, I don't mess around with my bull put spreads. If it doesn't do exactly what I want it to do, and I have a chance to get out for a small win, I take it. That's part of the plan. So we talk a lot about credit spreads. That's because that's mainly how I trade. I mainly trade with credit spreads. We have a masterclass that teaches you everything of my strategy. If you're interested, you can check it out on reallifetrading.com. Go to the education spot here. Type it in real fast because I don't even remember. Online courses. Online courses. So then scroll down to masterclasses and credit spreads. I'll show you every single step that I do to make stupid returns on a consistent basis. So there you go. Cool. So yeah, you'll hear us talk a lot about credit spreads, and that's the reason why they're like, I thought this was a day trading thing. Remember, this is the beginners group, so we teach everything. We kind of go through, we learn how to swing trade, whatever questions you've got. That's what we talk about. We do all of our trading in the morning, and then the rest of the day is just kind of like a coaching session, if you will. Still looking for trades, but all right. Plug, Cam says. Plug is a good gap. We're finding good gaps outside the range of previous days. This is a good day trading day. We just need to find the right ones. Into a resistance, that's fine. So let's see how quick we get through it. We have some EMAs in front of us again. So I think best case scenario is like 37.94 today on plug. You just have these wicks right here. This resistance, that support broke back below. It's going to act as resistance again. That's best case for me. We'll see if it can get there. It's already up almost 2%. Can it move another 2% to that area? Another 2% will be about 36.70. So it might not even get there. So I'd say that's probably best case today on that one. Beast says, for how long are you offering this beginner morning day trading room? It is every day, all year long. Does not go away. Yep. So we'll be doing this on YouTube live for the first 30 minutes before market opens, and then we'll be cutting you off. And then everyone else in the room, we just trade together. So yeah, you're welcome to come check us out, reallifetrading.com. Most of the time we have some sort of deal where you can get a week for free just to try it out, see what it's all about. And we'd love to have you with us. But we want to at least provide some value for you guys, right? That's why we're doing this on YouTube. Give you a chance to learn the markets, learn how to trade a little bit. Let's see here. Have I looked at Starbucks? I don't remember if I did or not. Starbucks is a good gap. Or not, it's not too big of a gap. We're breaking some key pivots. This is a lower high right there, and we're gapping up above it. This is a retest gap, so I'm going to let this be a little bit patient, but it could very well get moving. We've got a resistance there, and we've got a resistance there. So 117 is pretty much where I'm hoping this thing could get to based off of the charts. And we'll see. But yeah, it's a good gap. I like it a lot. Retest gap. So let it retest. Give it some time, 10, 15 minutes to let it just figure out, build some levels and play that. Let's see here. We've got Docusign has been beat up, right? And it's been an inside candle that we're barely trying to break the range of. This one I am leaning a little bit bullish on, but it's not as strong as the rest of the markets. The rest of the markets are gapping up above their pivots. This is not. So it's already kind of telling me that there's not a whole lot of strength there. So I would probably go find a different day trade. I think this is just going to be very choppy. It's broke its trend. I mean, this is such a strong, I did not see this gap yesterday. That's a crazy gap, but this is a very strong break. Very, very weak. I do think we'll retest back up into 170 to 180 range, but I mean, it's going lower. Not going to go lower today, I don't think, but it's going to be pretty choppy. Can I look at PayPal? Of course I can. I already looked at PayPal this morning before I got on the mic, because we are in a bull put spread on this one that looks like we're going to be hitting profit targets soon, I hope. Good gap. Again, just like the market's breaking, not just the outside range of the previous day, but also the pivots. We've got a 10 EMA right in our face, and our next resistance is about 192.90-ish. So it's got a little bit more room to go, right? It's possible. It looks bullish. I love the consolidation breakout. It looks good. I feel like we're going to slowly work our way out of this channel and then go to this one. And then we'll probably channel in here for a little bit. And if it continues higher, it's going to go from there. If it's not, it's going to bounce up and then roll back down. So Nvidia. Crazy strong stock, ridiculously good, really good trapping candle. I mean, it came back to that blue line support and just rampaged out of there. And now we're getting a really good gap up. So we are gapping up 3% today. I don't know how much is on it. I feel like this is going to hit some resistance here, pull up, and then probably come back down to fill the gap, maybe even go a little bit lower. I could see everything going a little bit lower today out the gate with these markets at resistances. So that is very, very possible for it to do that. Chop around. I don't see a whole lot of wide open spaces on this. I do love the hammer. I love the volume. I love the pullback, and it's bullish. And it might just say, screw all this resistance, I'm going to blow out of here. So we can keep an eye on it, but I think this is going to be a little bit of a chop. I'm going to let this one rest for 30, 40 minutes after the market's open and just see what it's doing, and then look for my setup from there. You don't have to guess. The stocks will give their hand. They'll show you their hand, and then you can find your entry from there. Don't feel like you have to try to guess what their hand is. You don't have to play poker with the market. You can actually wait for them to put their cards on the table and say, okay, you're going bullish. Now, there's a difference between this thing moving all the way up to here, and then while it's here, like, okay, we're going bullish. Like, you're late. You should have known we were bullish here. When we're getting a pullback, we get our little setup here. before the bull move happens, this showed you its hand. You now know, okay, we're not going down for the most part. There's a really good chance that we're not. Let's see if I can get the right entry to go higher, right? And then you're getting in down here, and then you're riding it up to there, right? So let it show you its hand, but learn the difference between being too late to the party and a good entry. That's the key to trading. Key to day trading. You've got to learn how to read sentiment, price action, and know when the good entry is. And if you've missed the good entry, move on. You're too late. Go find something else. Don't chase it. All right. Let's see. 5 minutes before the market opens, I'm going to get through a few of these other gaps, and then we're going to be kicking the YouTube off, and we'll get started on setting up our trade. So XOM, ExxonMobil, it is a good gap. I wish it was a little bit higher because we're opening right at that resistance. This is potentially what we could be doing again, right? Just barely get up above that wick and then come back down. We will see if it repeats that process. That's why I would have preferred a gap up there. It'd have been a lot stronger. We might open there, right? We still have a few minutes before the market opens. It could get there. I do like it. It's a gap and go. It means bear candle gapping up. Some people are trapped. I imagine most people assumed we're going to be going lower. So this gap up is probably trying to trap some bears and most likely move this thing higher. So 63 is probably a good target for this to get to. So if you can find some sort of entry setup here and get in there, your stop there, and have your 2 R's there. There you go. Ibs, what's going on? Welcome. Thanks for being here. Let's see, we've got PLTR as well. This is a retest gap. It's got some room to go. I mean, I feel like that's where it's going to try to get to today. 20. Volume's good. I'm pretty sure this trade's just fine on a 5 minute. It does. So this might be getting ready to go because the pre-market, we just had that breakdown. If we end up getting back up above this, then that could be the trap to kick this thing off. And that's where my target is. So yep, I like it. I don't remember. Was this a gap and go? No, it was a retest gap. Brain's already failing me. Looked at too many tickers. All right. Let's see here if there's anything else. I think it's about that time. I'd like to answer one question from someone out there, YouTube world, or if I could answer that in 30 seconds. So if you had a short, quick question before we boot you off, while I'm waiting for that, I will start looking over some of our favorites here. So I like the SPY. The SPY is one I'm going to keep an eye on for a day trade. I like this a lot. It's already gone pretty much to target. That's where I would have wanted it. So it's probably going to pull back. Qs, I like Qs even more. So I think Qs, AMD's already gone too much as well. Dang it. All of these are just taking off. I like AMD down here. I loved AMD down here, but now that it's already moved, that's pretty much our move. Anything else? We've got a few seconds here. Let's see if there's any. I'm waiting for you guys to have any other questions in. If not, then we will end the stream. All right. Christian says, how long have you been trading? Great question. I've been trading non-professionally for quite a few years. 5 to 6 years. I've been trading professionally now, full-time as my only source of income for 2 years, 2.5 years, full-time now. So it's been a little bit. Great question. Dave says, who is your ideal candidate for the live rooms? Love the morning education, but curious if I should be considering profitable with credit spreads prior to spending the monthly money. the live rooms are for anyone that's trying to learn the markets. The best way to learn the markets is to watch someone that knows what they're doing. Markets just opened. So I need to hurry and finish. Watch someone that knows what they're doing, understands how the markets work, and give you a chance to do that. Because if you can understand how the markets work, you can apply any strategy to it. So I would say it's definitely worth being here. This is how I learned. We want to teach you how to fish, not just give you a fish. I don't want to just say this is a strategy. I want to teach you how the markets work so you can understand that strategy and you can apply any strategy you want and be successful with the right expectations and understanding of how it works. All right, my friends, I think that's going to get it for the live stream. Have a great day, and